I'll do better, I promise. We're in Exodus 34. I'm just going to cover 7 verses. Probably could have covered the entire chapter, and then I just kind of had this moment this week that I said, why are you in such a hurry? Well, nobody cares. Just preach what God puts on your heart, and if that's 7 verses, if that's 1 verse, are you guys okay with that? So we're just going to cover 7 verses. I want to say the title this morning to begin, God is okay with let's try this again. And I think you're going to find that to be true this morning in Exodus when God's people, they had broken the covenant. God had his moment where he didn't know exactly what was going to happen. Moses came in. He prayed that God would relent and be patient with these people. And it just kind of reminded me of how many times in my life that God said, it's okay, let's just try it again. Let's just try this again. And I don't know about you, but for me, God does that a whole lot because I have a real way of getting in his way. I jotted some things down this week. I don't know how much sense it's going to make with the sermon, but that's okay. I put down the big difference I have observed over the years is this, that those critical of God, those people that are critical of God try to figure him out, but those committed to God, they try and seek him out. And I think there's a big difference. Moses doesn't have God figured out. He's meeting with God personally. It's really indescribable. It's unbelievable, the kind of relationship that God has allowed Moses to have with him. But he still doesn't have him figured out. But what Moses does have, and I think what God is asking for all of us to have, is a heart that is always seeking him out. Most of us who have been critical of God, or maybe you're here this morning and you're trying to figure it out. You're just not sure if you believe in this stuff. Well, I would say this. If you're critical of God, you've probably not sought after him to know him. You're just seeking after him to understand him. And there's a big difference, guys. It's amazing. We have a tendency to walk through life just doing things we don't understand. Would you guys agree with that? I mean, all kinds of things we don't understand. I don't understand most of what I do. You guys with me on that? Like how these things work, the food I eat. I mean, have you ever tried to understand the stuff you eat? Look, I mean, it's incredible. Look at the labels. Try to understand what you're putting in your body. I mean, there are words that none of us in here can pronounce, if we're honest. And we're like, it tastes good. We'll put it in our bodies. It's fine. We do all kinds of things we don't understand. I don't understand how the medical world works. I don't understand how the insurance business works. I just do it. This is what you're supposed to do. You just do it. But when it comes to God, sometimes we get trapped in this thought that we have to understand who he is before we fully buy in. And that's not what Moses is doing. And I'll get to the sermon. But the longer you walk with God, the more you become comfortable with trusting him despite what you understand. Would you guys agree with that? Like, I trust you, God. I don't have to understand everything about you. I trust you. I trust what you're doing. I trust what you've told me. I trust your promises. And that's what I'm going to go with. And I think that's where Moses is getting with God. That I'll understand everything about you. I know you revealed part of yourself to me. You're not going to fully show me who you are. You can't do that because you just told me no one can look on God and live fully at his presence. So all these things that I don't understand, but I'm just going to keep walking with you and seeking after this relationship with you. So don't get caught up in trying to understand everything about God. Let's look at Exodus 34. Let's read a few verses this morning. The Lord said to Moses, chisel out 2 stone tablets like the first ones, and I will write on them the words that were on the first tablets, and don't forget this part, which you broke. Which you broke. We'll go back. We'll circle back to that. Be ready in the morning. We'll circle back to that. And then come up on Mount Sinai. Present yourself to me there on top of the mountainside, the mountain. No one is to come with you or be seen anywhere on the mountain. Not even the flocks and herds may graze in front of the mountain. You're going to find, and I'm going to say it in a few minutes, but God does his best work when it's just the 2 of us. when it's just you and him. So Moses did as God told him. He chiseled out 2 stone tablets like the first ones and went up on Mount Sinai early in the morning as the Lord had commanded him, and he carried the 2 stone tablets in his hands. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and stood there with him and proclaimed his name, the Lord. And he passed in front of Moses, proclaiming, the Lord, the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished, and he punishes the children and their children for the sin of the parents to the 3rd and 4th generation. That's all we're going to cover today. And I think we can get something out of it. Number 1, here's what I want you to know when you leave here. If you're a note taker, put this down, because I think there might be a time in life that you need to hear this. And some of you are here right now and you're like, it's not ever going to apply to me. I'm okay. It's coming. It's coming. There's a season in your life that's coming that you may need to hear this. And that first point I want to make this morning is God can make us new tablets too. You know, Moses broke the first tablets. He comes down from the mountain. He's spent all this time with God, 40 days, 40 nights on the mountain. He's intimate with God. There's places in Scripture that talks about the following verses in this chapter talk about Moses' face was glowing from being with God. He's just there with God, no food, no drink. He's just soaking up all the God he can soak in. And I can't even imagine the experience he had. And the first thing that he sees when he comes off the mountain are the people, if you guys remember a few weeks ago, parading around this golden calf, this cow that Aaron, who was supposed to know better, is a part of. And you know what Moses does? He gets angry. He throws the tablets on the ground and they break. And he's like, crap, what have I done? I've messed up. At that point in Moses' life, I want to think that his family was most important, but I don't know. But those tablets were really important to Moses. On those tablets had the 10 Commandments, and that was an unbelievable experience with God giving those commandments to him, and he's now broken those. He's now broken those. And I thought about this a lot as I studied, and here's what I find God telling me a lot. Justin, you broke it, but I can fix it. Justin, you broke it, but I can fix it. Justin, you've messed it up, but I can fix it. I can make you new tablets too. Whatever is precious in your life, whatever you've broken out of anger, whatever you've messed up out of your sin, whatever you've done that you regret, and I'm not just talking about the little things that go on each and every day. I'm talking about some things that we've really messed up. God, I've messed this up. He says, Justin, I can fix that. I can give you new tablets too. And I often think about the conversation or what Moses thought as he was walking to the mountain to get the instructions for God. He's thinking, oh man, I've broken these tablets. Like, what is he going to say? What is he going to do? Is he going to write me off? Is he going to say, you're not worthy of my time anymore? I can't help you anymore. You're too far gone. What is he going to say? And I think we have some of those same conversations with ourselves when we approach God, when we've really messed some things up. And he doesn't beat him up. He doesn't do anything. He just says, listen, just get ready, and I'm going to give you some new tablets. I'm going to give you some new teaching. I'm going to give you what you need. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's what he's saying. So what I hear God saying to me, if I'll listen to him, is I'm not finished with you. You can have new tablets, and I can write on those tablets what I want for you to do. Even though you have messed up everything I've told you to this point, or you've messed it up in some way or another, I can still tell you things that I want you to do. I'm still with you, bro. I'm not finished with you. I'm still right here. Just because you've taken a wrong turn or something has happened, I'm not done. I'm not going to throw you out and just say I don't have anything to do with you anymore. And I really believe that someone needs to hear that this morning. I really do. Someone needs to hear that. That the most precious thing in your life you've broken. Could be your marriage. That it's broken. You're still living together, but it's broken. You've messed it up. You've made some mistakes that you don't know how that God's going to repair those. Or it could be something else in your life that's really precious to you. You've just broken it. I want to tell you this morning that God can give you new tablets too. And he can write on those tablets something that you need to hear. and something you can take with you. That's what he did with Moses. Number 2, prepared meetings with God produce powerful changes. So God tells Moses, he says, get ready in the morning. Get ready in the morning. Come up on the mountain. Make sure nobody's around. Make sure not even the animals are grazing. Nobody. Get ready in the morning. Be prepared. Get yourself right. Come, and I'm waiting on you. Now, what I have learned in life and following God is things would be different. We wouldn't break as many tablets if we added preparation to our journey with God. We wouldn't break near as many tablets. Would you guys kind of agree with that? We wouldn't break near as many tablets. We wouldn't mess up near as many things. We wouldn't break as many relationships. We wouldn't make as many mistakes if we would add preparation to our journey. And God says, you coming back up on the mountain, big boy, you're going to be prepared to meet with me. And the whole week, all I felt like God was impressing upon me is, how different would you see me if every morning you were prepared to meet me? Like not just kind of getting up and dragging into the kitchen or wherever, dragging away and kind of, no. If you really looked at it as, this is an opportunity to meet with God and I expect Him to do something. I really expect Him to do something. Every chance you get with God, we should expect Him to do something with it if we are prepared. Most of us are on this journey with God without any preparation. God keeps saying, hey man, I want to meet with you. And you know what we say? Bro, I'll squeeze you in if I get a chance. I'll squeeze you in if I get a chance. I'm going to go throughout my entire day, and if I get a chance somewhere in the evening or when my life calms down, I'll squeeze you in. And we're spending every single day on this journey with God, but we don't have any preparation attached to it whatsoever. And I just think, guys, if we prepare each day to meet Him, you're going to see powerful changes in your life. But it's going to take a little bit of, I'm ready, God. I'm ready for you to make powerful moves. Like I get up in the morning, and there's a psalm. I preached a sermon on it a few months ago, maybe a year ago. I don't know. You guys probably don't remember. I don't even remember. So, but one of the psalms says, I think David wrote it, I get up in the morning, something to this effect. I get up in the morning, I lay my requests before you, and I wait expectantly for you. I anticipate what you're going to do with those. That's the mindset that God is telling Moses to have. Prepare, be ready in the morning, and watch the moves I'm going to make. And if we're completely honest with ourselves, which is hard for us to do actually, not very many of us are doing that. And I'm not here to make you feel bad about it. I'm here to challenge you, to encourage you to get your butt up off the couch and get moving and make some changes. And that's the change I think most of us in this room need to make to see God moving in our lives. Amen? Be prepared. You're on a journey with God. Prepare for it. And see what He's going to do with you. Look what He did with Moses. He says, Moses, get ready, bro. And I'm going to tell you in the next point what He did. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to tell you some things that you need to hear and you need to hang on to. So if you're not preparing to meet with God, change that. He does His best work when no one is around. But some of us never get to experience that because we don't give Him an opportunity. We get up and we're just 100 miles an hour right in the beginning. And you know I'm preaching the truth this morning. And I want you to leave here believing that every chance you have to meet with God, that He can make a powerful change in your life. He can make a powerful change in your life. He can repair your relationships that are the most precious to you. He can change your family. He can change generations. He can do all this if you will prepare. And it's going to take a little bit of work on our part. If you're going through your day, you're anxious, you're nervous about everything, you're worn out, and nothing seems to ever change. Like you're just lost in this grind. And what you find is every evening you're looking for a new job. You're Googling everything. How can I fix my marriage? How can I find a different job? How can I do this? How can I cure my anxiety? You know I'm telling you the truth. I ain't the only one that Googles that stuff, am I? Let me see your phone. You got that on private browsing. I know how you guys operate. But that's how we are. And then God's over here going, I got you, man. But you got to quit squeezing me in. You got to be ready for this. And when you're ready, I'm going to bring you up on the mountaintop when nobody's around. And I'm going to change you. And then you're going to face every day differently because you changed, because you've been on the mountaintop with me. It was just you and me. You were prepared. And when you prepared, this journey changed. Now you're seeing things. Now you're doing things. Now you have a life worth living. Now you're able to look at your job differently. Now you want to work on your relationships. Now you want to be used by me. Now you want to start doing things. And you're no longer just playing the victim in every circumstance. Am I preaching this morning? Things are different. And it just requires preparation, guys. God said, Moses, get your butt ready in the morning, and I'm going to blow your socks off, bro. I'm going to give you another chance. We're going to try this again. And we're going to try it again and again and again. So if you leave here with anything, start preparing to meet with God and see what He does. And if you need help in that, then ask somebody that you trust. Hey, man, I'm struggling. Tell me where to start. I got you, dude. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I got you. And then you know what you do? You just take a step back, because God will do the rest. God will do the rest. All right, number three. God always knows what we need to hear. When we're prepared, He knows what we need to hear. He knows exactly what you need to hear. And He knew exactly what Moses needed to hear. He said, I'm going to pass in front of you. And it's not necessarily about what you're seeing. See, we get too caught up in what we have to see. It's more about what you're hearing. We're vision-oriented with everything, and that's great, but what are you hearing? God says, I know what you need to hear. And look what He says. I want to read this verse again. In verse 6, it says, and He passed in front of Moses, proclaiming, the Lord, the Lord. He's going to tell him who He is. Yahweh is the Word, the one who is, the one who has always existed. And then He goes on and He starts to tell him what he needs to hear. He says, Moses, I'm compassionate. I'm compassionate. Which means that some translations have the word merciful. I'm merciful. Like, I have this part of me that desires to be, to forgive. I have pity on you. I don't seek to beat you up. I'm a compassionate God. I see your hurt. I hurt with you. You need to hear that this morning. You need to hear that almost every day of your life, if not every day of your life. I held that little precious baby this morning, and I was just like, the world's too nasty for you. You're too innocent for this nasty world. You need to know that God is compassionate. He says, I'm compassionate, Moses. He also says what? I'm gracious. I'm generous is what that means. I'm generous in what I give you. I'm generous in what I don't give you. You can't work for any of this. You're not worthy. It's out of my generosity and out of the love that I have for you that I give you this. That's what grace means. It's free. It's yours. So you're telling yourself, okay, what's true? Paul tells us in Philippians 4 to think about what's true, what's right. What's true? What's true is God knows what we need to hear. And what you need to hear is, I'm compassionate. He's compassionate. Yeah, thank you, God. I need that. I need you to know that you hurt with me. I need to know that you hurt with me. Well, we need to know that He's gracious. Like we need to know. I need to know that your grace is with me because I got to have it. I can't do this on my own. What else does He say? He says, I am slow to what? I'm slow to anger. How many of you in here this morning are slow to anger? Very few. Get on 75 South and go to the beach and you'll see how slow to anger you are. Nobody's slow to anger. Nobody's slow to anger. I've seen people, man, in cars, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, some of the most humble, beautiful, gentle souls. You put them behind a steering wheel, they're not slow to anger. God is slow to anger. Very few of us are slow to anger. What do you think? Why do you think we're angry? We're angry because we're not meeting with God. We're not prepared to meet with Him. We're just going on this journey. And we don't have anything to take on the journey. You try to fight these battles, you're going to be mad. The world will make you mad. What we experience in life will make us mad. The way people treat you, what they do to you will make you mad. And nothing surprises me anymore. But it'll make you mad, and we kind of take all that in, so we're angry all the time. And you know where anger comes out? It's interesting, but if you observe people with dementia and Alzheimer's, who are they usually most angry with? It's the people they love the most. It's hard to watch. And when we're angry with the people we love the most. That's where it goes. And I love that we serve the only God who's slow to anger. So when I approach God, I don't approach an angry God. I think some of you might. You think you're approaching an angry God who's always disappointed in you. But it says he's slow to anger. And Exodus has proven that he is, because he's not giving these people what they deserve. The next one, and I'm going to finish, he's abounding in love. Abounding in love. We talk about that a lot, but that word abounding is a big word. It's like, it's a love that you can't fathom. It's a love that you can't imagine. It's just overwhelming kind of love. It never ends. It never ceases. Like some of your bank accounts, you're abounding with money. Right? Never ends. You got money for everybody. You always never find, you know what I found out? You find money for what you want to do. Anybody else agree with that? But you're abounding, he's abounding in love, and then it says faithfulness. So I want you to this week, when you start prepare to meet with God, I want to encourage you to remind yourself of all these. And it's going to change the way you interact with him. But I'm going to finish with this. I'm going to read the rest of the scripture and finish. Look at verse, where does it start? Verse 7, maintaining love to thousands. We read something like this in the Ten Commandments. And he's going back over these in a different way. And forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. Does all those things. He maintains his love to the people that love him. We've talked about this. And then he says, but he doesn't leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children and their children for the sin of their parents to the third and fourth generation. And I talked about this, but I'm going to do it again. It doesn't necessarily mean that God is a God who hovers around wanting to punish all these kids for the sins of their parents. That sounds like an angry God to me. We don't serve an angry God. Right? This is what it says. But what it's saying is all the sins that we continue to participate in and we never change, we spend our whole life just stuck in these same sinful ways because we don't prepare to meet with him, we don't give him our hearts, we don't go through the cutting out phase of all this stuff in us. What happens is that sticks for generations. And it changes families and breaks families for generations and generations and generations. But for those of us who love him and we seek in our lives to surrender to him and we meet with him, that love lasts for generations and generations and generations. So when you get up in the morning and you need a little extra motivation to meet with God, let that be your motivation. Not just what you're going to get out of it, not just the blessing you're going to get, not just the restoration in your relationships, maybe that'll happen, but look at what you're doing for years past your existence. Look at what you're doing. Your love and faithfulness, all right? You guys stand up this morning.